In this video, we'll be looking at how to use the component editor to help get rid of unneeded influences on our geometry. So if I move this arm around really quick, you can see that it influences not just the arm, but it's also influencing some of the other areas on the geometry as well. So for instance, moving this arm up and down, we can clearly see that part of the neck is being influenced, and also part of the face. It's kind of like his face is kind of melting off a little bit, which is very bizarre. I mean, we want the arm joints to, of course, influence the arm and the hand, but we don't want it to influence the head because that just doesn't make any sense. When we're moving our arm around, how far face isn't melting off to one side now, is it? So how do we fix this? Well, there's two ways of doing that. We can use the paint weights option to get to add or remove areas of influence around certain parts of geometry, or we can also use the component editor, which I'll quickly show you right now. So if I go to Windows, General Editors, Component Editor. Now, the component editor is essentially a spreadsheet that provides values of an object, so values for the vertices, faces, etc. And it's usually in ones and zeros. So right now, if I just select, if I just quickly move the arm around really quick, I need to figure out which ones are being influenced right now. Okay, so there's a big chunk around here that's being influenced. So if I just grab some of these really quick. Sweet. So as you can see in the component header, if you go under smooth skin, it gives us values of ones and zeros. Essentially what this is showing us is what is currently being influenced by certain joints. So right now, if it's at 1 or if it's anything above a 0, it means that there is some slight influence. 0 means that there's basically little to no influence whatsoever. So as you can see in this face right now, we can see all of the joints and what it's being influenced by. So the shoulder has 0.1 influence on certain vertices, whereas say the jaw has very little. So right now what we need to do is we need to select all of these and just click them to 0 and press enter, and you should see that some of the vertices have now moved back into place because they're no longer being influenced by the clavicle, for instance. So right now some of these are still being influenced by the shoulder. If I just click all those and go to 0, just keep an eye out on the vertices there. So let's quickly move to the side slightly, so you might see a little bit of a change. So you can see that there's been a slight change to these vertices. Same with these bottom ones as well. So I might have to go in, put that to 0, and also put the shoulder to 0 as well. And you see it starts moving back into place. So we're basically getting rid of any sort of influence to the model. So I want to get rid of the influence on the shoulder as well, because it really shouldn't be there. Same with the head, this part of the head as well, because again it's being influenced. So I want to get rid of the shoulder influence specifically. So yep, that's pretty much gone now. There's still some that are being influenced. So there's, oops, go back here. I believe that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, probably that one as well. So yeah, you can see here it's 0.105, so we want to get rid of all that influence there. 0, so you can now see it's nicely going back into place. 0 there, zeroing it off. Even some of these bottom ones as well. Can be a slightly tedious task, but it is important because you don't want unneeded influences on your geometry, because it will show when you start doing your character animation as well. So get rid of the shoulder influence, get rid of the clavicle influence. I think most of this face now is uninfluenced. Probably a big chunk there that still is, so I'm just going to quickly clean that up. All you got to do is just click and drag down, and that should get rid of that. Does like everything there as well. That looks like everything now, but the best way of doing it is just to keep experimenting and play around with the deformity. So for instance, just move like the arms or legs around and see what is being influenced by the, see which vertices are being influenced by the joints. So for instance, part of the hair is being influenced by some of the joints. So I think it's just mainly these three right now. So I'll go back to the component editor. Oh, not that one. Must have accidentally closed it. Component editor. Again, as you can see, it's being influenced by the shoulder, which it really shouldn't be. I mean, they're like so far away from each other, but yeah, it's still being influenced by that. So again, if I just move this around, we can see any other sort of influencers. I mean, that is kind of like a crazy amount of deformity there that I'm doing right now. So I could just slightly clean this up a little bit if I needed to. Just making sure I'm covering all the bases essentially. But yeah, now let's get that back into place. And you might want to do the same on the legs as well, because you can see that these joints are very close to the left leg. So as I move it, again, you can see that it is being influenced by other parts of the foot as well. So I can just go in, select a number of these vertices. Like so. Go into the component editor. Then you got to try to figure out what exactly it's being influenced by. So this is the right leg, so you want to get influence from the left ankle. Yeah, I'm not sure what joint 28 is. Again, that's another key thing, is make sure that they are named, because if they're not named, so for example, joint 28, what is that exactly? So that's why it's important to name your joints, because otherwise I have no idea what this is. Because these are named, I know, okay, this is being influenced by the right ankle, which makes sense. What exactly is being influenced by the knee? That really shouldn't be there, so we can get rid of that as well. So again, that's one of the reasons why I told you guys to name your joints, so you know exactly what's going on. So yeah, basically, essentially just go around, just move the geometry around, or the joints, and just see what is being influenced, what isn't being influenced by the other joints, and just start cleaning them up in the component editor. The next video, I'll be showing you how to use the Paint Weights tool to also reduce or add influence to certain joints.